Okay, I don't want to take too long on this because I know you want to get on with the work itself. So I'm going to try to get through as quickly as I can. This is the second of 3 mini PowerPoints just to step you through the first assignment. Last week you chose 2 different companies, and broadly speaking what you did was you were able to identify different individual features on the website. It might be pictures, it might be titles, it might be search boxes, logos, shopping carts, all those sorts of things. And then as a sort of merit and distinction, you're talking about why those are there, how they help the company. In this one, we're just looking at 2 past tasks today, P2 and P3. So, I will attach some of the content from the book for you. So I've split this onto 2 pages and I've given you 2 slides here for you to fill in. So P2, explain how the 2 businesses have adapted and changed their websites. So the website used to look like something, now it looks different. Well, I think that's completely unfair, because how would you know from 10 years ago? I wouldn't remember from 10 years ago. I think it's really difficult. So there are 2 things we can do. One is we can make some assumptions and tell the assignment those assumptions. Those things, and these are things that particularly that the book discusses, things that are more of on websites than there used to be. More pictures, because it used to be quite difficult to add pictures using the HTML. That's become a lot easier, and because mobile broadband speeds, internet, 4G, whatever, data is much faster, so they can bother to put pictures on. It used to take 2 minutes for a picture to load. Now it takes a blink of an eye. So more pictures. Designs, it used to be that if you looked on there weren't any smartphones at first. If you wanted to use a website on a smartphone, you had to scroll all the way across and all the way back. It was just the shape of a screen and you had to go back and forward. But now, as you know, when you go onto a website on your mobile phone, there's a different layout. And that's partly down to the fact that the language has become easier. So they use a template that just works out which machine you're on and shows you it the way you need. What else has changed? Much more visible social media. In days gone by, people didn't really use social media. 10 years ago it was really quite new. Mobile phones weren't smartphones, so there wasn't really a place for it. So in the last 5 years especially, they really emphasise social media. There are now, I'm missing a bracket there. There are now mobile apps. So whereas before, if I could have gone onto the Amazon website to buy my things, what they've realised is they can make specific apps that make it easier for you, that feel like an app, feel less like a website. I've recently got the Lidl mobile app. And it just has 4 little compartments. One is for some vouchers, one is to show the brochure. I can't remember what the other 2 are for, but it's specific to make me do the things as easy as possible without all the kerfuffle around it, without all that other stuff that you might have mentioned last week about how to contact them and all those things. Also, you could look at things like, if you think about something like Amazon, they now have streaming music and films. They have things like new delivery. You can add wish lists. You can add recommended purchases. You can share that information much more easily. Now you can do the assignment and make these assumptions. You can say these will be like that. If you want more confidence in it, there is a website which I'm including on this presentation, web.archive.org, or http://web.archive.org, and that's known as the Wayback Machine. And if you go on to that, what you can do, let's just very quickly do it. So what you can do is you can search for a website. Not every website is on there. And what it has done is it has taken snapshots of millions of websites over the years. So what you can do is you can go back in time. If I go back to 2003, if I just click on a date there. Oh, it's given me two options. Okay, and it's going. That wasn't working at the time. Oh, here you go. It's done it. This is the Amazon website on one day in 2003. So we can see it's much more wordy, very small wording, much less design on it because it's quite difficult to do design at the time. There was a few pictures, not a lot. The tabs at the top, you can see are much smaller, but the basket's still there. So you can look at your company's website, one of the ones you chose last week, and you can actually see what differences there are. But I would take you back to this list. So things you might notice are the pictures. There weren't as many pictures in the past. If you looked at it on phones and tablets, it didn't have a special view, not as much social media, and not as many features, not as, things like streaming, anything that required a lot of data. So that is P2 for you, and I'm going to stop this video and I'll do a separate one for P3. So just to emphasise, for P2 you need to do this for both businesses. So ideally you choose the businesses you had last week, and what would be great is if you use the Wayback Machine to confirm your assumptions that these things, the pictures, the designs, the more data heavy features and the more design heavy features, use that if you can to discuss those changes on the two websites you chose last week. Okay, thank you.